Issues at Hand on Family TV, enriching lives.
It's a big month here for us at Church of Uganda Family TV because we are celebrating 50 years, the Diocese of Kampala. That's the Golden Jubilee celebrations are on, and these celebrations will culminate on the 21st of August, where we are going to have a very big event at the new All Saints Cathedral building, and we are excited indeed. The Diocese of Kampala has done so much to change lives in Kampala, and my guest today, who is very big indeed, is going to take us through what the Diocese of Kampala is and what the diocese has done and why we should celebrate these 50 years of existence. Now, my name is Bruno Edgar. Welcome to Issues at Hand. My guest for today is the Assistant Bishop of the Diocese of Kampala. That's Bishop Hannington Mutebi. Welcome to Issues at Hand.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you for coming. And the excitement is high, fever pitch. Are the plans going well?
Actually, I think indeed, as you have, right from April, the Archbishop launched the programs for the celebrations. And where we are now, this is now the week come 14th this Sunday. All preachers will visit different parishes and churches in the city just to start off the celebrations officially for that week.
All right, we look forward to that and to more, and especially to the big day, that's the 21st of August. But before we even get there, we want to understand, maybe for those of us who are new in the church or who might not understand what the Diocese of Kampala has done. What is the Diocese of Kampala? How did it start? When did it start?
Okay, the Diocese of Kampala was carved from Namirembe Diocese way back in 1972. And by that time, for me, I was 12 years. You know, and now to see that now I'm a bishop in this diocese, it's really a joy to be part of this celebration. So it was carved from Namirembe Diocese, and then to create a see or a diocese for the Archbishop, because Archbishop used to come initially before the diocese was carved from Namirembe. The Archbishop used to visit from his diocese. Like if you are bishop of Chigezi diocese and you elected a archbishop, then you stay there and you used to only come to Kampala for official duties, national duties, celebrations. And now even they constructed a smaller house on the hill of Namirembe for that purpose. Until time came, because now Archbishop is a very busy person, you know, you will move from diocese to diocese, and it could not be really meaningful for him to retain the other diocese. So they had to carve and create a diocese for him. But because still he's a busy person, up to even to today, you cannot see him seated just taking care of Kampala Diocese, because Archbishop is the Bishop of Kampala Diocese. But because of that, he has to get an assistant. It's the reason the Kampala Diocese is the only diocese in the province of Uganda where you find an assistant bishop. It's just to help the Archbishop in his busy schedule. When he's away, the assistant bishop is taking care of every detail of pastoral care in this diocese. So that's how the diocese was created and carved. And by that time, it was a smaller city. And you remember they used to talk about a city built on 7 hills. You know, they counted 7 hills, but now you count more than 20 hills. You know, the city has expanded. And now the Diocese of Kampala is surrounded by Namirembe Diocese. And as we celebrate 50 years, we want to see how we can work together with the Namirembe, because the biggest part of the city is in Namirembe Diocese, where Jesus is growing. But people come to us, and I think when we talk about the size, it is small, but the population is big. and the work is enormous.
Actually, on that note, because one of the things that many of us as part of the congregation we have found interesting is that whole mechanism of the Archbishop being the Bishop of Kampala, and then it's very interesting indeed. But talking about how big, or you said it's small, but which areas does the Diocese of Kampala cover, and how many churches or parishioners are in the diocese?
Yeah, I think the diocese, as I told you, it has really grown, and we have witnessed this growth for the last 50 years. But this growth is coming with quite a number of challenges. But it started like with 7 parishes. But as we talk now, we are now coming to 20 plus parishes. But as a diocese, we cater for institutions within the city. We are now like tertiary institutions like Makerere University, or the University, Chambogo University, MOOBS. It's our, they all are under our docket, and we really have to do pastoral work in those institutions, even like hospitals and prisons. That's the work of the Diocese of Kampala, to see that all those institutions are catered for. And now the growth has really gone beyond even like the 7 hills, the original hills where the city used to say it was built on the 7 hills, but now it's beyond. Even the churches have grown from 7 parishes to beyond 20 parishes with institutions and chaplaincies.
Thank you. That is amazing. And now, as maybe some people who are just joining the Church of Uganda, or have just given their lives to Christ and are joining the church, and when you are a neighbor and you come to a place and you hear there's a lot of music, there are celebrations, you ask yourself, why are these people having a party? So the question for you I have is, what are we celebrating? Why are we celebrating? Yes, it's 50 years of existence, but why should we celebrate?
Actually, I think celebration, even when you attain 50 years, that's an achievement. It's a milestone. And indeed, when you look back and see how when this diocese was carved from Namirembe, I just want to give a few examples. For example, the church of Bugolobi was not there, and when it started in a shed. Even they called it lead church built from the leads, because and they called it Saint Leeds, But when you visit Church of Bugolobi and you see where we are now, even the cathedral, All Saints Cathedral, it was a chapel, because initially during the time of the colonial masters, there where it used to be Uganda Television, that was a hospital. It used to be a hospital for those people who come to serve, but the English, the white people, they had their hospital. And it is the same thing that is happening with Nairobi. Nairobi, they also had what they called Nairobi Hospital, just to cater for the expatriates of the nation. But for us, when we attained our independence, the government decided, the government by then decided to transform that hospital into a television. And then because we had gotten a gift of Mulago Hospital. So the All Saints Cathedral was a chapel to cater for those expatriates. So it was a small church, and it continued to be expanded. I think it was expanded 3 times until the time of Archbishop the late Nkoyoyo. An idea came that we have to build a new church, and then the plan is started, and the groundbreaking was done by retired Archbishop Oheno Rombi. And now, even as we look back, we look forward to the climax of the celebration. This new cathedral will be officially opened, which takes about 5,000 people. Look at us in this city and tell me a place where you can accommodate 5,000 people in one sitting. So it's a big cathedral, and this is an achievement. These are signs or indicators that surely you can see growth. You can measure growth in numbers, but also in what is happening with such structures. Yeah.
And so that's one of the milestones. Are there any other milestones that the Diocese of Kampala has when it comes to us enjoying these celebrations?
I think we really, with the time we have, but if you see churches being expanded and others built, like I mentioned at the Church of the Resurrection, but even other churches, the Church of Bukoto started in a very small structure, but now they have a very big church. St. Luke's Sintinda, St. Stephen Kisugu, those are signs that we can see growth in this city.
In the church, in the Diocese of Kampala. Wonderful. Yeah. But wherever there are milestones, there are also challenges. What challenges has the Diocese of Kampala faced over the past 50 years?
I think as a diocese, and you serve in urban setting, I think worldwide, when you talk about cities or urban communities, they have their own challenges. Now, like in our city, in the city of Kampala, where we are and where we serve, we have, I think, the slum dwellers are the majority in this city. But for you people who are in the area like Nakasero and those posh areas, you are very few compared to those who stay in the slums. And indeed, we also have ministries in those slums. We have churches like in Kalere, we have a church. Recently, as we celebrated, Archbishop led a group of people together with the KCC to clean the community of Kalere. But there are challenges because those people there, when it rains, it floods. When you go back in the Kiwuriris, down in the swamp, that place is called Kanyogoga. People are staying down there, and they will tell you that when it rains in Kampala, even when on the other side it is dry, the floods will go and affect them, even carry their children. So those are challenges. How can we really help our people really to stay in the city and really live life that is good? Yeah. So it's our challenge. Those are some of the challenges. Think about the plastics. In this city, people just throw these plastic bags and bottles, like, some of these people who do that, you see them driving very posh and nice vehicles, and then you see a person throwing a plastic bottle on the road, and really we need to work together with these people, even to talk about the environment. We are destroying the environment, and yet we are people who are supposed to benefit, to have a good life in this city. So the church is out to lead in this, working together with the KCCA and the government of Uganda, to see that the environment in this city is conducive for the city dwellers. Even those who come in to do their work, and after working, then they go back, want to see that the spiritual life, the economy life, and the social life is really catered for. Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful, and we are glad that is happening. And when it comes to the celebration now, what is going to happen during the celebrations? We know, like you mentioned, it started in April, but now August is now the actual month where the celebrations are happening in full force. What should we look forward to when it comes to the 21st of August? But then, thirdly, what is the future of the Diocese of Kampala? What is the church looking at doing in the next 50 years?
I think as a foundation has already been laid, and all those who come, we have to build on that foundation. It is a very firm and strong foundation because it is built on Jesus Christ. And we want to see that every time we add on that foundation. So what we are looking for, we want to see how can we work together with the nation, the state, with the state council, and see that surely there is good life in this city. We want to feel it, and we want to be felt as a church, as we help the people to live good life, but also preaching the gospel. Because once you get to know Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior, you know, that's the beginning of transformation of your life. You know, you are supposed to care for the environment. You know, you have to take care of your life, because Jesus Christ came to give life abundantly, you know. And our celebration, the theme will be God's mission is our priority, because God wants us to live good life. You know, the Bible says, John 10:10, that he came to give us life, and give us life that's abundant life. Yeah. So we want to see people in this city living abundant life.
Living abundant life. And some of the activities that have been happening during the celebration are evangelism, preaching the word of God, and then you mentioned as well as cleaning up the streets to ensure that we have a clean city. I've also heard that they have been planting trees. What are some of the activities we should look forward to as we continue in these celebrations?
I think some of the activities now, like as I said, on the 14th, we have a number of preachers who are going out in every single congregation in this city to tell them about this celebration. But also we have, like on the 13th, we have the Jubilee walk that will start from All Saints Cathedral, will go up to the hill of St. John's Makerere. St. John's Makerere is our prayer mountain. So it will be a prayer time to pray and ask God to bring transformation in this city. So that is one of the activities. And then on the 20th, we have a very big gathering for the youth. It's a youth celebration. The Archbishop will be there. But also we have a walk from in St. Stephen Kisugu, termed the Archbishop's walk to transform the slums. You know, calling upon people to come and join us in this. You know, that is also another walk on the 20th. And then the climax will be on the 21st at All Saints Cathedral, when the new cathedral will officially be opened.
And of course, the chief guest of that occasion is the President of Uganda himself, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. And then we are going to have the guest preacher will be, of course, from Namberemo Diocese, that's Bishop Wilberforce. But yes, and we are looking forward to that. On that specific day, we are excited here on Church of Uganda Family TV. We are very, very excited. What should we look forward to on the 21st? What is going to happen, and how are we going to usher in the new building when it comes to the All Saints Cathedral, the new cathedral that has 5,000 people?
Yeah, I think for you as Family TV, you know, we are excited because you're part of us. You just need to come on that day, and then you give the world what is happening. You know, I really don't want to, the Baganda say, osumulula tosumululangaba you know,
that one.
Yeah. So I think when you come, first and foremost, the gospel is going to be preached, and for us to have Bishop of Namirembe, Bishop Wilberforce Chitiolu Walida. You know, Namirembe is like the Jaja, the grandparent of the Church of Uganda. And yet, Kampala was carved from Namirembe Diocese. So we are saying, Papa, you come, Grand Jaja, grandfather, you come and be our preacher. You know, because he understands the gymnastics of the city, you know, where we are, because we serve together in this city. So he'll be the preacher, and great singers will be there, and then even food we'll eat.
Oh, yeah. That was my next question, because for us in our culture here in Uganda, when there is an event, there has to be food. Otherwise, we might choose other events. So you had it right here. There will be food. But in closing, Bishop, what would you like to, what's the message you want to leave with your parishioners and dwellers of this city of Kampala when it comes to, as a leader in this Diocese of Kampala? What should we take away? What should we learn from the Diocese of Kampala? would you like us to really start doing better when it comes to taking care of our city?
I think first and foremost, we really have to appreciate what we are, to love ourselves. Because if you don't love yourself, you will not really bother what is around you. So first and foremost, for us to understand that we are created in the image of God, and God wants us to live in a clean environment. Let us be the custodians of clean environment. You know, God Himself, cleanliness is next to godliness. So where you are, as you know, when you walk, don't really just see things scattered all over the place and you sit there and you rest. You know, I think let us be concerned. For example, in our confirmation services, we ask children to be responsible citizens, that they will care for the environment. They will visit prisoners. They will go to hospitals. You know, those are some of the things we want our children to learn right from the beginning. And I just want to encourage all of us to love this city. You know, this is our home. This is where we come. It's our garden. We get money from this city, and also we have to take care of it. Yeah, and let God be number one in everything we do. Yeah,
and everything we do. Something I also wanted to ask you lastly is how many people is the event looking at accommodating? Is it the 5,000 who are going to be in the cathedral, or are we expecting a larger number?
I think we expect a larger number, because those 5,000 are officially invited. You know, they'll take but we are going to create space, you know, tents for those who will come, because like a church, you are not invited to come to church. You know, you just walk in and have a time. Even when you feel like, for me, I'm not invited for lunch, yeah, it's okay, provided you have taken the spiritual food. Yeah,
definitely.
So, yeah, and we have our partners from UK who will also be coming, like those of Caris, UK, those who have been working and working with us for quite some time in taking care of the children in the slums, and they pay their school fees, they cater for them, you know, where they stay in their homes, you know, such people. And even now, Tier Fund coming on board to see that they help us to manage the plastics in this city. They are coming probably next year in February. We'll start that project, you know, and also look into the environment, especially the slums, that really our people must really live in a very good environment.
Wow. We are looking forward to more 50 years under the Diocese of Kampala, and to the change and transformation that's going to happen in the city. I would like to send a special thank you to my guest, that's the Assistant Bishop of the Diocese of Kampala, Bishop Hannington Mutebi, who has graced us here and with his presence, and has told us about the celebrations that are happening when it comes to the Golden Jubilee, 50 years of the Diocese of Kampala. We are going to go in for a quick breather, after which we are going to have another guest who is going to continue the party as we continue to celebrate 50 years of the Diocese of Kampala. Don't go anywhere.
This is Church of Uganda Family TV, enriching lives. Issues at hand on Family TV, enriching lives.
And here on Church of Uganda Family TV, we continue with the celebrations, the 50 years of existence of the Diocese of Kampala Golden Jubilee. Yes, we are continuing with the celebrations, and I have another guest here. Now, when you want to know any details about a wedding, for example, you have to talk to the chairperson of the organizing committee. They're the ones who tell you the program, how it's going to go, what if there's going to be food or not, who is going to be at the wedding, and whether you are invited. And that's why my next guest is the chairperson of the organizing committee when it comes to the Golden Jubilee celebrations of the Diocese of Kampala. He is Mr. Peter Chiza, and he's also the head of laity at St. Francis Chapel, Makerere. Welcome to Issues at Hand.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you for coming. And of course, we are excited about the celebrations, and we want to find out whether everything is in order, and whether come the 21st of August, we shall have our culmination of celebrations, or whether there will be an extension. You know how these things go sometimes during during preparation. So, how far with the preparations for the activities, and how is it going?
Well, let me say this, that any preparation needs a lot of stakeholder involvement. And I want to appreciate, especially the clergy and the bishops, the assistant bishop in particular, and the archbishop, who have allowed us to run with this program. And I want to say that we have sat hours deliberating on what the 21st will be like, and we have a good menu for everybody. Preparations are coming to their point of finalization. We have an exciting program that starts with a week before the culmination to the 21st. And I'm sure, as you may have heard the assistant bishop outline, we have engagement with the public, different stakeholders of the public. We have engagement with the borders. We have hospital ministry engagement. We have clean-up engagements. We have a march that's going to happen. But the very day is going to be the climax of all that. And what are we saying? And we're just celebrating the journey from 1972. There is going to be a lot of activity, predominantly a service, that's going to entail a lot of celebration, thanking of God, thanking of the ministers who have been part of the journey, giving of testimony. There will be an exhibition of the profiling the diocese. So we are very positive that this is going to be an exciting day for the diocese. And more for Kampala. I'm asking people in Kampala that come to church on that day. Everything is ready for you. It will be very unfortunate to have put a lot together and we don't have the guests. Because the function is primarily the spirit of the guests at that function. So in summary, we are ready for the Kampala inhabitants to celebrate with us 50 years of this diocese.
Wonderful, wonderful. The team is ready, and as guests, we need to get ourselves ready, because like I said, it does not make sense to have an event and for the event not to have guests. But on the preparations, when did they begin? Because the assistant bishop told us that the preparations, the celebrations in a way began in April. So did the preparations begin before April last year? How long have you been planning for this event?
Yes, the Archbishop was right. That the kicking of actual putting things in place was April. But we had a month of pre-planning, and that is putting the committee in place, the organizing committee. As you know, you need a committee of designated roles who are going to drive the planning. So we spent about a month putting the finance committee together, putting the corporate social responsibility committee. Why? Because this event is about outreach. So we are talking about social responsibility from a corporate perspective. So that committee was a key committee that had to be put in place. We're talking about a committee to do with profiling the history of the church over those 50 years. We're talking about a committee to do with mobilization, to do with publicity. And I really want to thank Family TV, because you are our pivot publicity to this event. So yes, we spent about a month putting all this together, the organizing committee, and then getting familiar with each other and making everybody understand their role. And I want to say that it's been a great committee. And I am very positive that probably even going forward, we have an established, what I can say, that the partnerships we have established are more than just partnerships. Like Family TV, I think we are now friends in ministry.
Yes, we are.
In whatever we shall take forward from this event.
Yes, and there's a lot to come from this event, and we are going in for a bit of a quick coffee break, after which we shall come and we shall go through the program of the day, and then we're also going to receive your comments and your questions about the celebrations. Many of you want to know what's on the menu in terms of the program, and maybe also in terms of the food, but we shall talk about that and more after this quick breather.
Issues at hand on Family TV, enriching lives.
The issue at hand today is the Golden Jubilee celebrations by the Diocese of Kampala. When it comes to the Church of Uganda, we are celebrating 50 years of existence, and these celebrations are going to culminate on the 21st of August at All Saints Cathedral, Kampala, the new building of All Saints Cathedral. So I am here with the lovely guest, Mr. Peter Kiza, who is the chairperson of the organizing committee, and he's going to tell us, continue to tell us about how these preparations are going and what to look forward to. Now, let's get into your questions. Thank you for sending your questions. As our loyal, very wonderful family and our viewers, we are always grateful that you keep in touch and you keep part of the conversation. And the first question here I have is from Sylvia Nancha, who is from Nigeria, and she asks, what should we expect at the Jubilee celebrations, and what is the way forward after all these events are done? So maybe you can take us through the program for the day so that we know what to look forward to.
Thank you, Sylvia. That's a very good question. I don't know how old Sylvia is, because we want to emphasize that when there is a Jubilee in brief, 49 years biblically marks the entry into 50 years, whether that's a celebration year of any Jubilee. But what happens at Jubilee really is a reset. Biblically, Jubilee meant that debts were forgiven, prisoners were released, land was given back. It's like the community was expected, and I'm talking about from the biblical perspective, the Israel community was expected to reset. We want to reset the Diocese of Kampala. The celebrations that are culminating on the 21st, though we are going to meet and give thanks to God and are going to pronounce the goodness of God in the journey from 72 to where we are today, we are speaking to the youth in a special way. We are saying, you are the next carriers for the next 50 years. So the message that we are pronouncing on that day has already started in the activities before that day. When we go to the communities, to the hospitals, clean them up, minister to the children, engage the stakeholders that govern Kampala, we are saying, as the bishop stated in his contribution earlier, that Kampala is going to be a city under transformation, but we are handing over the baton to the new generation, who are the youth. So when you come on the 21st, expect a message, a special message to the youth, saying, thus far the Lord has helped us, and that is really the foundation of our theme. But we are handing over a critical mass of God's faithfulness and giving it to the young generation. So on that day, we will have a service, but it's going to be a service of impartation. Telling the youth, take the baton. Preserve yourselves as the leaders for the next generation. Take and pick on the lessons we have learned and run with the goodness that God can come through in the Kampala that we live in. So yes, there will be food. That food will be there. And I'm saying don't come with hesitation. You will be fed. I'm saying come and enjoy the service and the messages around it and the rejoicing around it. Come and enjoy the fellowship, because you will not be left the same. I'm asking that you don't have service online. Come to All Saints Cathedral, because we will see our cathedral also come to life. It's been a structure for a long time, but it's going to come to life on that day. It is our cathedral. It is not All Saints Cathedral. It's the cathedral for Kampala. So I've tried to say a lot in answering her question, but I want just to say, Sylvia, tell your friends, come and receive an impartation, for you are the leaders for the next 50 years. All that we are doing now are footprints, so that your footsteps can walk in those footprints to carry forward everything we have started again, resetting the church for the next 50 years.
Wow, I am sure Sylvia has received that impartation. So come the 21st of August, you are going to receive an impartation for the next 50 years as the next generation. We, as the next generation, are going to receive an impartation. Now, talking about children and youth, is there any special arrangement for the children, or is the Jubilee celebration meant for adults only? That comes from Brenda, who is from Chisugu.
No, the children cannot be left out, because I want to emphasize that the children are really the torch bearers for the next 50 years. Some of us will not be here. So there are activities for the children. We have a Jubilee match on Saturday.
A football match.
A Jubilee match, not football match.
March, yes.
We are going to march in the city, yes, from All Saints Cathedral, and we are going to finalize our march at Makerere University, at the church there, and we are going to tell Kampala that the diocese is on the move. We exist, we are alive, we are well, we are kicking in a new thing. On that very day, at All Saints is a children's program arranged, because the children, though we would have loved them to march with us, there are challenges that come with that. So come for the march. There is someone to look after your children. There's an interesting and exciting program for the children on that day. Teachers have been solicited for that day. There is fellowship organized for the children. There are drinks and eats organized for the children. However, there is going to be also, as part of the culminating week to the 21st, there is going to be missions to schools. We are going to have activities that are going to engage schools. We are also going to engage, we have already engaged some already of the established primary schools, like at Bokoto. We had the assistant bishop go there and engage the children in that school. And on the 21st, we also have a well-arranged program for the children. What am I trying to say is children are part of this.
They are well catered for.
They are all well catered for.
The reason I was thinking about the match is because there was actually a match and a football match, and it was very interesting.
Yes.
But
yes,
talking about the march that you were talking about, there's a question here from Samson, who is from Chiwatole. He asks, is it possible for the Archbishop Walk to be made an annual event through which the office fundraises to give back as a social corporate responsibility to charity?
Excellent question. Let me tell the audience, whatever we are doing now is deliberate. All the activities we are doing now is deliberate. What are we saying? The church needs to move from the inside of the church to the outside. So we are resetting the church by all activities that we have done, the walks, the tree planting, the marching in the city, the engagement with the children, engagement with the hospitals, and other possible areas. Yes, these are now going to be integrated into the life of the church. Meaning, the Diocese of Kampala is going to come together around certain activities that will be community driven, focusing on the community, as the assistant bishop had said, to see a community transform into wholesome health, well-being, prosperity, positive mental health, etc., etc. So yes, that is not going to end at the celebration. The Archbishop and let me say the clergy and the priests are going to be deliberate on having this as part of the life of the church in the community in the years going forward.
Wow, wonderful. So, Samson, I know that your question is answered, as this work will continue to be a thing of a practice that the Diocese of Kampala holds annually. Then, coming in from Stephen from Jubilee asks, is the committee ready to receive the masses, and how is the crowd control mechanism?
Yes, that is the question that has several perspectives. First of all, the community is invited. Let me say that. We are a church that knows that church is for the community. As the Archbishop had stated in his address or in his communication, no one is ever invited to church. The doors are simply opened. However, we have put mechanisms to ensure the safety of those who come. So we have an elaborate plan with the police and leaders in the community to ensure safety of the public on that day. Number two, there are measures to do with general safety, because we do not want anyone to get injured or harmed in any way because of what comes with a crowd sometimes, or the excitement that comes. So we have an organized setup of how people will sit and participate in the function. Coming with that, there is the welfare aspect of people. So everyone will be catered for from every aspect of welfare, including food. So to tell my brother that we are ready to receive, that like Jesus always had the capacity to deal with the crowds. The beauty about doing things that Jesus did is that we know he will guide us and give us the wisdom on how to deal, because we're dealing with hearts. Apart from you coming as an individual, we're dealing with a desire to transform your heart. So come and feed spiritually, come and feed physically. We have put everything in place to make sure you're comfortable.
And on that very same discussion, Samuel from Kampala, who is of course a parishioner of the Diocese of Kampala, says that sometimes most events that have our president are related they're related with a lot of security barricades. Is it the same with the Jubilee celebrations? And maybe also, if you can add on to this, the traffic control, how traffic control will be done as well.
Yes, let me say this. There are certain things that we must expect as reality. When you have certain guests, they come with security, a detailed security aspect about them. But I want to say that from a general aspect of managing that day, I will say that the big picture is the occasion. Yes, you have to go through security. If the president is coming, you will have to go through security. There will be designated areas for parking, designated areas for entry. I want to ask the public that it's only a moment. It is a small factor of the whole event. Let us work with the police and work with the security. But once we're in, then we are in the confines of the celebration. So yes, there may be for some people an inconvenience, but that you must expect it. It is not that something that will go away with the Jubilee, because we are dealing with security at a social level. So
it's a small price to
pay for the
celebration
event,
that's going to happen.
But the big picture, wake up with the big picture. Come prepared with the the ability of, don't inconvenience yourself with too much. Let me put it that way. Dress up like, let me give some tips. If you can leave your phone, if you can leave it behind, if you can leave a lot of the things that will make your security a challenge, just leave them behind. Come with your heart and be as light as possible. A small part of that will then allow you to the big part of the function. That's what I can say.
All right, fantastic. And then Kavuma Julius, also from Kampala, says, we thank Bishop Mutebi for emphasizing environmental protection. How I hope this message is echoed in church every Sunday. Otherwise, happy Golden Jubilee celebrations.
Thank you.
So things are starting off and we are all getting excited. What's your final remark on the Golden Jubilee celebrations? What should we look forward to?
Well, my final remark is this. It's very important to remember where we are coming from. It's very important for us to take stock of what we have achieved. But it's very important for us to understand the responsibility for the next journey. So I'm telling all members, all inhabitants of Kampala, because we are all stakeholders of our Kampala city, that there is always room for improvement. There's always room for envisioning and redefining our mission. The Jubilee celebrations is redefining the mission for the church for the next 50 celebrations. But be part of it. Because if you're not part of it, there will be a failure to hand over to the children that we say are part of us in this city. In particular, today, the challenges that are faced in the city must make a sense of there is a better thing than what we are at or what we experience today if we allow God to be part of the equation. So every home, all inhabitants, come and let's prove that God can make a way where there seems to be no way. Yes.
Thank you so much. God can make a way where there seems to be no way. I can't say it any better. Now, thank you for joining us on Issues at Hand. Thank you, my guest, Mr. Peter Kiza, for joining us and for telling us that the preparations are underway. Come the 21st of August, the team is going to be ready to receive us as inhabitants of Kampala. Let's go and let's receive the baton that the team and the clergy want to hand over to us as far as the next 50 years of the Diocese of Kampala is concerned, because the future lies with us, the youth. So please come in numbers and come expecting a spiritual impartation that when it comes to our city, it is our responsibility and we have to have a spiritual mantle to take over and preach the gospel to everyone in this city and ensure that the city is aligned to God's will and purpose. Thank you for joining us on Issues at Hand today. We will come back tomorrow with more, and thank you for always watching Church of Uganda Family TV. God richly bless you.
Issues at Hand on Family TV, enriching lives. The views expressed on this show are not necessarily those of this television or its management, but as of individuals as we hear them. Family TV, enriching lives.